I'm Joey Anders, teaching professional here at Brookhaven Country Club in Dallas. One of the highlights of my career was when I started teaching Jordan Spieth golf at the age of 8 years old. He'd already been through one of our camps and could hit a ball fairly consistently, and all his ball flights always ended up a little bit left or right. So he came to me asking, how do we hit a draw, Joey? So in our first lesson, we started to work on why Jordan didn't hit a draw and what we could do to make that better for him. What we found out was he'd like to sway a lot in his backswing, and this caused his hands to get really high, and he would come down a little bit outside in or over the top and create that little fade. So through some time, we figured out that if we could eliminate his sway in his backswing and get his hips rotate more in his backswing, get his hands more behind him, and he could come inside out more efficiently and create a draw more effectively in his golf game. So like many of you, Jordan has some restrictedness in his hip turn. We found this through time that he couldn't turn effectively, rotate his hips as much as we'd like him to. There's a couple things we can do to make this rotation easier for you. One thing is through setup. Most of you tend to set up with your feet very, very square or straight at the ball. But what we can do to make this easier for you is flare your back foot away from the ball a little bit. And this should open up your hip much easier to make an easier backswing, a fuller turn, and come from the inside more effectively. Now, how much is up to you. Some people may be a little bit of flare, some people may need a whole lot of flare. But there's no right or wrong here, it's just whatever's most effective for you. All right, so the second concept we had to cover was the lengthening or straightening of his trail leg and his backswing to help him turn his hips a little bit better. This is one concept that many people get confused with. They try and keep their knees flexed and make a backswing, and because their knees are flexed, they can't turn their hips as much as they'd like to, or their shoulders as much as they'd like to, which would help them come from inside better. So what I like to see is the trail legs lengthening or straightening a little bit, and this helps your hips turn even more effectively in your backswing. This is really easy, and it shouldn't take any time at all for you to get better at this. All right, the last concept I want to cover is how to practice these moves in your golf swing. Number one was foot flare. So if you put a alignment rod through your belt loops right here and set up parallel to your target line, you can flare your foot out a little bit and make a backswing and see if you can get the amount of hip turn you're looking for in your backswing. What we're looking for is 45 degrees. If you were to turn these hips all the way perpendicular to this line, it'd be 90. We're not looking for that much. We just want 40 degrees, 45 degrees, somewhere in there. If you experiment with your foot flare and you get 45 degrees, that may be all you need in your swing to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish today. But some of you might need more. So you can flare your foot and let your trail legs lengthen a little bit and still look at this alignment rod and see if you're getting the 45 degrees that you're looking for in your golf swing. And then others may just only need trail leg just lengthen a little bit. You can just let your trail leg lengthen a little bit without flaring your foot and get the 45 degrees and be happy with that. But that's not enough. What you need to also do is to practice these moves repeatedly over and over again in slow motion, in faster motions, and with golf balls. But when you put golf balls down, just make sure you're making slow motion swings and really focusing on where your hips are at and where your arms are at when you make these golf swings. Practicing these moves purposely over and over through time will help you improve your golf game. It worked for Jordan Spieth, it can work for you also.